Salam, dear brothers and sisters. It is an honor to introduce a very distinguished speaker, Brother Abhimanyu Kaul. Brother Abhi is here from Toronto to spend the weekend with all of us to talk to us about our beloved Swami. Abhi has had the privilege of being a student of Swami. He completed his Masters in Commerce in the year 1990. As a student of Swami, he was active in practically every field that the institute had to offer. Veda chanting, dance, he's a Bhangra dancer, he danced in front of Swami. Drama, public speaking, gymnastics. But unfortunately, we are only going to see one aspect of that public speaking here today. He was a trailblazer for many activities that followed after he left the institute. In fact, there are videos of Abhimanyu putting his head into the window of an almost moving car of Swami, showing diagrams and layouts, seeking permission for programs and functions which have become the norm today. This includes the old boys meet on January 1st every year. There are videos of him showing Swami the diagrams of the proposed program. Swami blessed him to launch an organization called Values in Action, whose objective is to spread Swami's message of human values to communities, corporates, and schools around the world. Last month, Swami blessed Abhimanyu's book, The Joy of Self-Discovery, which touches this subject in great detail. Please join me in welcoming Abhimanyu. Sathya.
Om Shri Sai Ram. I offer my most humble and loving pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagavan. Elders, brothers and sisters, as always I find it not only a blessing but a privilege to share whatever little days, moments we spend with Bhagavan. As I always recall that, for narrating a story you have to relive them. And each time you think of those moments, people say that it fills you with the same joy. I say, no, it fills it with more joy. And sometimes I feel like slapping myself because we wonder how did we miss out opportunities to play with him more? And how could you take some liberties which you could, in your sane mind, you could not? But I guess God has His own ways. He allows you to be a little bit foolish so that you can enjoy Him more. Intellectuals He keeps at one arm's distance. Foolish people like us He brings us in His fold and makes us sit on lap and play with Him. So it's our pleasure, no doubt about it. How this fell on my lap, I don't know. We all are sane. I just happened to get this stamp, Sai student, which gives me this pleasure and unique opportunity to stand in front of you. Bhagavan gives you all this joy and love, but at the same time He's very careful that you should never get egoistic about it. So realizing that we are all facing audiences and people are patting our backs and thinking that we have become something great, which I am not. Fortunately, He keeps you deflating. One day He comes and tells us, boys, have you seen Shiva's photograph? It's a very obvious question, right? How many of you have not seen Shiva's photograph? Lord Shiva? Everybody. So obviously Swami will nodded. But whenever Lord asks a question, it is better to be carefully shut up. Because He has got something else to tell you. So He said, watch. You see a snake around his neck? We carefully nodded. And He said, as long as the snake is on his neck, you worship him. But the moment you find the same snake outside, you will chase and kill it. Remember, you are like that only. As long as you are around me, you have my name attached to you, world would worship you. But the moment you are outside alone, they will not spare you. So I'm very much aware of my limitations. But it's a joy, that you enjoy, that He puts you in midst of scholars and makes you speak. And you ignorantly smile. And I enjoy that, because I know He does the work. Anyway, my journey started with Him when I was very young, very child. Actually, my grandfather introduced us to Him. But the beauty was, somehow it came in my head that I have to be in His school. And in '83 I joined the portals of the university. And then life changed. What happened later on is a series of events and a very life-transforming experiences. But the most critical aspect of our interaction with Bhagavan, which I can put it from my side, is the concept of God was changed. Fortunately for me, my father was also influenced by Bhagavan very early, but he had gone through his own share of chasing different forms and different gurus and all that. But by the time I came in this life, he had already settled down to Bhagavan Baba. So the transition did not hit me that much. But usually if you understand, I'm sure elders would vouch for it, God was reserved for Sunday mornings. And mothers use Him very carefully to scare the child. Don't be bad, or God will punish you. We use God in a very, very critical styles. If you don't worship, you will fail. So God turned out to be like a police inspector for us, or some havaldar standing outside, a watchman looking after you whether you are doing right or wrong. Or He was a critical element that you have to go on Sunday morning and say hello to Him. And that was only from X time to Y time when you enter, so you close your breathing. Have you seen people coming out of temple and mosque like that, When they come out, they breathe so heavy outside, as if somebody had choked them inside, All of you are smiling, that means you all have experienced that. Isn't it funny? A place where you're supposed to enjoy, feel the company of your beloved, your best friend, you go choked inside. Don't speak. Did you breathe? No, I didn't. Children are choked, neck closed, like don't speak, because it's God's place. We are forced to develop an attitude in that small period which we do not think is appropriate outside. Otherwise, why should you not behave outside also the same way? So this concept always disturbs the mind of youngsters, especially. When you go to temples, you are expected to be head covered, sit silently, don't look here and there. But if you come out, oh man. And this is the first thing which Bhagavan hit. As soon as we came into the mandir, he said, I know you guys are acting too smart here. All saints, sitting quietly, sitting up. What you do outside? Horrible fellows. And he started off in that tone. He would, as soon as we sit in the mandir, he will tell us, how did you walk? Don't you have mannerism to walk? Can't you walk straight? Why are you looking here and there? Looking on the shops, streets, reading the boards. Why can't you walk straight? So he started pointing to us what we did before we came to mandir. Imagine. Before we used to rush to sit in the front row, now we are scared to sit in the front row. Because this is a reverse gear now. And then when we corrected ourselves in walking terms, he didn't stop there. He started, what were you thinking yesterday? Now I'm doomed. What are you thinking tomorrow? He would tell you exactly what you thought yesterday night. What you did at night in some 4, 5 years, 20 years back in some corner of the world, he will tell you, and that too not in private, in public. So you can laugh at yourself and others and then feel so embarrassed. So he started doing those glimpses and made us realize that God was not something which you can lock in a sanctum sanctorum. He was not something to be scared of. He was not something which was far in heavens, for whom we have to do something different. He could not be bribed by 10 rupees, $10. He could not say, okay, pass me this examination, I'll give you $100, man. Or give me the lottery and I'll give you 1 million back, It's not. He was not that. He turned out to be the fast friend, most caring companion, a most loving parent, and a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful companion of life. And this he gave in glimpses, in small, small doses to us. I sometimes wish and pray I could become a student again with this kind of maturity, with this kind of understanding. Because when we are there, we are like stupid fools. Bhagavan would call us frogs, sitting under the lotus. See, I'm giving you my all designation which he gave us. He said, you boys are like frogs, sitting under the lotus and doing tum, 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 tum. Bhagavan is a very great humorist. He imitates everything. We looked at him like that, how Swami? Then he looked around, he said, look at those Western devotees. They are like honeybees. They come from far off places and take my honey and go back. And you fellows sit under my nose, nothing. You don't know the value of me. But I guess we were just trying to be that way. Because once the awareness of his divinity comes into play, then somehow we shut up. We don't talk. We admire him. But if we did that, who would have played mischief with him? Who would have danced with him? Who would have pulled him? Swami come, Swami go. Nobody would have done it. But we did it because we had no awareness of what we were doing. When we would come in mandir, we would run. Can you imagine running in front of Swami? Running, not only running, we would just stampede it, you would be. Anybody come in middle, gone. He can't survive. And Bhagavan would say, my horses have come. So lovely names, huh? Hysteria, horses, Dunapota. These are his designations to us, and we were loving it. And like all mothers, typically the Asian ones, who love to feed. Their whole expression of love is to feed. Even if you are growing fat, she says, you calm down today. What happened to you? Eat some more. Bhagavan says, I am multiplied by million mothers. You can imagine how much he would feed. So he starts with food only. So our introduction with Swami started with food. Like I was telling yesterday about Sambar story. Yes, I'm sure people who have heard me, they don't mind hearing it again. Just to introduce you to Bhagavan. See, he starts with a very practical terms. There is no Gita philosophy going on, there is no Vedanta going on, there are no discourses going on. What discussed was, how's the food? And we were from north side, so we are not used to eating your sambar. I'm seeing some different faces here. So are you all familiar with the word sambar?
Oh, yes.
How many of you don't know sambar? Wow! I'm impressed. Everybody knows sambar? You have really conquered America. That is amazing. Okay, sambar, I think one hand went up. Sambar is a liquid dish. Think of it like a lantern, like a liquid. But it is a typical South Indian dish. Now even North Indians are not used to it before, but now we love it. So when we landed in hostel, our breakfast was idli. You know idli? And sambar. Lunch was sambar and rice. Dinner was sambar and rice again, with different vegetable curries. So we had a tough time. We thought, man, we are done. If you have to eat sambar the whole day, what is happening here? So we were a little worried, but we could not question Bhagavan, or we could not even question the warden. We didn't know how to approach him. Because the parents had told us, you fellows are very naughty, at least behave there. So we had no option but to zip it. Anyway, within 1 week, our prayers, innermost prayer went to him. We didn't communicate formally, but the Lord comes, stands in front of us and says, "How are you boys?" Whenever Bhagavan is in front, we are always happy. So he says, "Swami, we are very happy. How is the food?" Now the sensitive part came out, and we like, "Okay, Swami." Then Bhagavan very sweetly looked at it and says, "What was the breakfast?" And one boy from behind shouted, "Sambar idli, Swami." That sambar word came out in such a pathos, that people could look at him and say, feel the pain of his. And suddenly there was what was lunch? Sambar rice, Swami. That was enough for Bhagavan to take the cue. Bhagavan immediately called the warden and said, "Warden." He ran. "Warden, how are boys?" "Very happy, Swami, very good." "Okay, what was the food?" "Swami, sambar idli, Swami." "What was the lunch?" "Sambar rice, Swami." So he's telling as if he has done something great. He's serving the best food possible. Bhagavan said, "You fellow, you have no brains. My boys are from all over the world. You can't feed them sambar whole day." He said, "Okay, Swami, I will change." He said, "You fellow are also from South India. What do you know what they eat? Come, I will make the menu for you." He took him inside, came out in 5 minutes. He had a paper in his hand. He had made the menu for tomorrow. Next day morning, can't tell you what a joy we had. There was no sambar. There was aloo ka paratha, the stuffed potato bread. That afternoon we had like dal, a different dish, with a nice aloo curry and rice and a chapati. So we had that. Evening we were all ready to shout back and say, "Bhagavan, we love it." Bhagavan came, stood, he didn't ask the question. He is very mischievous. He's smiling at us and we are asked now. And then he asked. And we replied. And he was happy. Then he took the warden again, made the menu for the next day. 3 days in a row he made the menu for us. And after that, weekly menus were coming up. We used to have such a variety. One day Indian, next day continental, third day Chinese, one day South Indian, North Indian. It was all a combination going on. By the time we finished our first semester, we didn't like the home food. I'm just exaggerating a little bit, but yeah, the food was very good. That's how Bhagavan entered us. We felt that here is somebody who cares for us. And the beautiful thing is, it's all free there. Everything is free. You just pay for the hostel mess. Otherwise, your education, stay, everything is free. So that also touches you, that all that compassion, all that love is for what? What is He preparing us for? What does He expect? In today's time, when I smile at you, we get thinking like, why is He smiling at me? I had this question when I came here 10 years back. I had a stupid habit of smiling. I still have. Now people have got used to me, that's all the difference. I would go in the bus and people will like, "Hello, why are you smiling at me? What does he want?" Nothing. So people are not used to genuineness. Isn't it funny? The trust factor is so different that today people are wondering if you are genuine to them. If you smile, they doubt you. If you're not cunning, then something is wrong with you. You can't be straight. That is the fate of today's time. So in that scenario, you find somebody loving you unconditional, giving you so much. Like music boys in those days did not have good instrumentation. It just started. Bhagavan used to sit in the front of the boys and to start singing. So he'll start teaching you right there. He would pick up an instrument and play with us. So imagine to and fro. So all the bhajans were tuned by Bhagavan. He will correct them. He will give you all corrections and sing along. And one day one boy said, "Swami, there is a new Casio come out." He said, "What is Casio?" Casio used to be like, the company which creates that keyboard instrument. So they had recently come out with a big one which had got different sounds. You could create the water sound and all that. So Bhagavan was preparing a play and the music boys told him that Bhagavan, there's an instrument which has come out and that creates all these sounds. So it will be very useful for us in our music program and during the play. So in the backdrop music and all that, we can play that. Bhagavan asked, "Okay, give me the model number." So in those days there was no internet and all that. So boys had somehow scrambled that model and they passed that model to Swami. Next day, it seems that evening itself, Bhagavan sent somebody to Bangalore and asked him to buy that. And overnight he came back. Next day, Bhagavan called the boys and gave him the instrument. Who else does that? You ask and you shall get. It was as simple as that. To an extent that we started asking him only. One day 4 of us went to, we were in school. Bhagavan had never come to school after that. So when we told our principal, sir, they said we would like to invite Bhagavan to school. The principal said, Ayya, this is Swami's school. He can come anytime he wants. I said, okay, this man is in a different wavelength. So we went and told Swami, Swami, please come to school. We sat in the front, he came. Like a stupid fool, we got up and said, Swami, I said, what do you want? Swami, come to school. Okay, what for? So we had nothing to thought in mind. We said, Swami, music program. He said, okay, I'll come. When should I come? Now Bhagavan is asking, when should I come? He said, whenever you want, Swami. So he said, today is Monday, I'll come on Thursday. He said, okay, Swami, we are smiling. We have no clue what have we done. We invited Swami to school without knowing what have we done. Bhagavan turns and calls the principal, Abu. The poor man came running. And now we are afraid because we didn't tell him that we are inviting Swami. So they are looking down. Bhagavan said, Abu, boys have invited me to school. I'm coming. So he was like stunned looking at it, what happened here? He said, okay, Swami. He said, I'm coming on Thursday. So poor fellow did not even respond yes or no. He looked at us, we looked down. We had no questions to give. We were afraid. When Swami left, he said, boys, what have you done? We said, sir, we invited him for a music program. He said, good. He was totally lost. Poor fellow did not sleep for 3 days. Then we realized what had happened. Because see, for us, it was such an easy thing to call him because he was so accessible to us. We said, come, and he accepted. But we did not realize that inviting Bhagavan involves a lot of things. It was not just an ordinary thing to invite somebody over. See, for you, if I am invited at home, I am nobody. People think of it. Or like anybody, if you host somebody, you think of it. What do you like? Do you have allergies? Do you like this food or not that food? Do you like salt? Or do you take tea without sugar? How much sugar? Half, quarter, 1, like me, 3 spoons or 4 spoons, you know. So you will ask these questions. We don't think when we think about Bhagavan. Because we never personalize him. We never think of him as our own. Even though we depend on him the most, we do not think of him our own. That's why whenever we think about Bhagavan, we start philosophizing. Oh, he's in our heart. We are pure. Who will test that? And how do you reflect that you are pure? Certainly not by our actions, because if you did, you would not speak like that. And here we invited him without realizing the impact and the magnitude of inviting God. Even though it was just from Mandir to school, but school was the institution which was inviting God. So poor fellow did not sleep for 3 days. So he had to clean up the whole school, arrange for exhibitions. The speakers were getting prepared to introduce the topic, welcome note, then some flowers, and then Vedas, and then... So there was a big paraphernalia going on to invite and welcome Bhagavan, which we realized later on. That when you invite somebody like that, how much of thinking and how much of thought process and preparation is required. But we were like geniuses, 10 boys got up and said, come Bhagavan. But poor fellow, they didn't sleep for 3 days, they managed to finish everything. It was all done. Bhagavan came. I'm just sharing with you the foolish liberties which we have taken with Lord. First sports day of school. It's a very interesting story for our life. Bhagavan had never come to school institute. We never had an official sports day till then. It was in 1984, I believe. 84-85 period. We went and told Bhagavan that Swami, we want to now have a sports day of ours. Bhagavan said, sure. What do you want me to do? nothing, please come. No clue what we'll do. We had no ground. Today if you go to Palchi, you will see a beautiful international like stadium there with grass and everything. That time it was nothing. There was only a pathway. That also had thorns, so we used to clean that and make our way. So Bhagavan, when he said, I'm coming, we had a one stage on Ishwarama High School behind, so we used that. We decorated that stage. It's a story in itself. And you will not believe. Okay, I'll throw you a guess. See how much creative can you go. What do you think events we would have shown Bhagavan in those days? It is supposed to be a sports meet function. What events do we think we did for Bhagavan? Any guesses?
Track.
Kabaddi? Oh my God, he's honest. He should have been my classmate that time. March past, obviously we did, just to introduce him. You are not supposed to answer. Anybody else?
Track running.
That time we were not fortunate for gymnastics. We had nothing. We were not sophisticated.
Tag.
Huh?
Three-legged race.
Tag? Who was that?
Three-legged race.
My God, were you there that time? We did that. We had the first event was Fat Boys Race. Something funny for Lord. All the fat fellows who were overweight, they were made to run. It was fun to watch them 50 meters and they are panting. Bhagavan said he should make them run like 100 meters continuously. They should reduce. So have Fat Boys Race. Second event, lemon and spoon race. So you put your lemon spoon in your mouth, put a lemon and then run. Lemon and spoon race. Then three-legged race. You tie your feet with two boys and they have to run. And the fourth item,
Sack race.
sack race. Auntie must have done those things.
Yes. Long time.
So sack race. Can you imagine what funny events we did? And it was so much fun. Bhagavan was laughing, we were enjoying. We had no clue what else to do that time. There was no equipment, nothing was available. So we just enjoyed ourselves with Bhagavan. And he played around. Then he got down and he said, very good, very happy, very good start. And then he got into his car after giving us blessings. And while going, he just rolled his window down and said, boys, I have kept something for you in the school. So we ran behind his car and we saw fresh ice creams there. Imagine we were celebrating our sports day. We should have thought about these things. But because we forgot, he did not. And he served us ice creams. So our first sports day had these 4 items and an ice cream. That's how we were. Playing with the Lord of the Universe. Taking liberties which we could never imagine. Today that sounds like a dream to us. We can never imagine we did that to Bhagavan. Can you imagine calling him, Swami, please come inside? He will come. Okay, Swami, now you please go out. Sometimes you feel like slapping yourself. How dare you did that day? But we did it. He allowed us. And the Lord came in our life. He came so subtly, but He remained firm. And when you start seeing the growth, then you understand what was He preparing us for. And if I can summarize it in one word, it was service. What He has been doing all His life, He was preparing us for that. Nothing else. We as an alumni have our own unofficial organization, which we call Sathya Students. But look at Bhagavan's ways of doing it. We formalized ourselves just to be in touch with Him in a formal way. So as a body, we can interact with Him. But His instructions came work with the organization and through the organization. So once we start getting into the organizational structure, we started understanding better as to why He created this phenomenal structure. Why do you think Bhagavan created this organization? I know we have academic answers, but let us hear it out. It certainly was not that one day he got up and said, I'm feeling too good today, let me start an organization. The avatar has planned every second of his. So why do you think he started this beautiful organization and gave his name to it?
foster the devotees.
To
Foster the devotees?
foster the devotees.
Service.
For service.
To mankind.
I like your word. I wish you would not have used the word devotees, because it limits us. You know, once I was addressing a talk like that in Toronto, and we were debating whether we are really depicting Bhagavan as his devotees, because we fail him every second of our life. So one youth girl got up and she said, "Brother, I think we should not address ourselves as devotees. We could be members of the Sai organization, those who have willed to follow the path of Sai. But since our actions are not up to the mark, we don't have the right to call ourselves devotees." Hats off to her, and I believe it to an extent. Why not? But yes, if you look at it, organization is nothing but an external depiction of what he has lived for. He's a unique master who has lived every word of his. He would never preach unless he practices in his form. He has practiced every bit of it, and then he will show it to you how to do it. One day we were folding sarees inside his room. You know how many sarees he distributes? The girls are fortunate for that. We get only pants once in a while. That also, if he gives, he has to give a full safari suit. But these ladies, at least 2-3 times in a year, they get sarees. And they get nice sarees too. Huh? He categorizes them nicely. If he has to call a group, then every group will get a similar kind of saree. So we just remove the price tags and refold it and all that. Then we shelf them. And he knows exactly which sarees are kept on which shelf. So when he's sitting outside, you see some boys going to his ears and Swami saying, "Get," and they run and get clothes. He tells them exactly what to get and where it is kept. He's very, very perfect. He knows meticulously where things are kept. So when we are inside opening, removing the tags and refolding it to keep it on the shelves, he's monitoring it. So he would show you also how to do that. In earlier days, he would show you exactly how to do it. But once he shows it, you can't make a mistake. So that's why we used to have a joke in our mind. We used to say, we have to keep looking for new mistakes. With Swami, keep looking for new mistakes. You are surviving till then. Because you can't repeat your mistake in front of him. So you have to keep finding new ones and keep going with him. So we were folding, one boy was folding the sarees, and you know there are some shelves like that. So we pick up and arrange the saree in a shelf. So this fellow had a genius thought. He thought, let me put it and then I'll arrange it. So he was just folding it and keeping it like that on top without putting it properly. So he thought, once I have like 4 or 5 sarees, then I will rearrange the whole thing. Unfortunately, Lord was behind. He suddenly came and said, "Finna pota, why are you wasting your energy? Once you get up, put it in right order. Why you have to go a second time and do it?" So he likes perfection to that extent. When you do it first time, do it right. And do it properly. So he would teach you at every second. But he will compensate, keep playing with you. Once we finished our working inside, he suddenly came and said, "Boy, did you eat something?" No, you know, as I was telling, as a student we are always hungry. And especially when Bhagavan is asking. So you are always hungry, ready to eat. Then Bhagavan said, "Okay." Then he said, okay, we have to rush. So he did like that. And while he was waving, he said, "Show me your hand." So one boy picked up his hand like that. So he said, "Too small." And he kept his hand like that. And he put a big laddu he created. This big laddu he created. All of you know laddu?
Yes.
Okay. He created a big laddu, bundi, with the ghee oozing out. Oozing out of it. This is a big laddu. And he put it on his hand. Suddenly a thought comes we are all crazy people, we think differently. Suddenly a thought comes like, 5 boys, 1 laddu. But Bhagavan was very gracious. He put the laddu in his hand, then he took one morsel of laddu and he just passed on to one boy. The beauty was, as soon as the laddu left his hand and landed in ours, the laddu became full. So each laddu was becoming full. So we all had 5 big laddus in our hands from one laddu. Bhagavan wiped his hand and said, "Finish fast." We need that. I don't have to explain to you the taste of it. it was tough to finish that. It was such a big one. We were full. That's how he would play with you, and at the same time he would show you something, correct you, lovingly show you the gestures of his divinity and take you along. How many of you have not been to Puttaparthi? Not been to Parthi? Have you seen some pictures there? Great. So at least you have a fair idea of how mandir looks like? Wonderful. In those days there was no roof. Like, the mandir was open air. Only the mandir was there, and then the hall was not there. So we are talking about those days, it was much free. He was available lots to us. I'm just tempted to ask a question because I see there are all very, very, I would say great devotees out here who have been with Bhagavan for a long time. So I'm here to share stories, but I'm very tempted to ask you a question. What was the name of Sai organization when Bhagavan started this organization?
Kingdom of Sai?
What was the name of this organization when he started it? First attempt is Sathya Sai Seva Samiti, and it is wrong. Second attempt, please. That was totally off. Okay. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Was it the Kingdom of Sai?
Kingdom of Sai was a name given to the alumni body first time for Bhagavan, not the organization. You have been very old devotee. When were you? When did you start?
I just read a lot.
Okay. Okay, good. Anybody else? Any further attempts?
It was something like Bhajan Mandali or something?
No, sir. Bhajan Mandali was started when he was like 10 years old. He started a Bhajan Mandali. Panduranga Bhajan Mandali that was. How many of you love Swami?
All of us.
Not a trick question. Yeah, I'm serious. How many of you love Swami?
Raise
your hand.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? One day Bhagavan, he's awesome, I know that. One day Bhagavan asked one boy, he was standing right there, suddenly Bhagavan comes to him and says, "Hey boy, do you love me?" It was an abrupt question looking at him, "Do you love me?" The boy goes, "Yes, Swami, I love you." And Bhagavan said, "Loda, you don't love me, you like me. Because if you love me, you will be lost in my love. Because you set back, that means you have not yet loved me." How many of you love Swami now? Anyways, it's something to think about. Something to think about. Bhagavan is very, very beautiful and mischievous. He can play with the words. But at the same time, he conveys a message. When we say we love somebody, what do we mean? What do we mean when we say you love somebody? Pardon me?
You appreciate it.
Wow. They're talking about sacrifice and all that. You sacrifice other person or? See, I'm a little slow here, so give me something very practical. And I don't philosophize, I get scared, I don't want you to love me. Anybody else here who loves somebody?
It's not a serious word here. How I love you, love you. It's very common.
Yeah, that is not love, sir.
Love from the heart.
From heart, auntie, I don't know, huh?
Total surrender.
Total surrender? My
Yes.
God.
Atma
Auntie, do you love your husband? I think we're having good fun here. But point is very simple. I'm asking a simple question. Did I take a trick question? It's a very simple question. When you say, everybody shouted, you laughed at me then when I asked, did you love Swami?
Yes.
You said it's obvious. I'm asking, what do you mean by that?
We appreciate.
You appreciate. So appreciation is love?
Yes. To
It's
some
part of it.
extent, yes.
Partly.
It's part of it.
Part of it. So basically you're all in part of loving him. So we are in appreciation stage only. Then how do you say you love him? You appreciate him then.
See
How?
Swami in everybody.
Wow. Auntie, thank God you are not working now. Are you working? Ask these people, anybody who's working on tea, they don't like their bosses. And it's so difficult to see God in boss.
If we love him, we follow his teachings. Whatever.
So when you say loving means what? You follow somebody's teaching?
No.
No.
I asked a
Whatever
simple
you
question. Huh?
Whatever he says, you follow, you do.
Okay, let me rephrase it. I know it's going a little tricky for all of you. Let me rephrase it. When you say you love somebody, what do you tend to do?
Following his path, 9 code of conduct.
Now, how do you know what his path is?
The 9 code of conducts.
9 code of conduct. That was written like long back. How many of you read it? Have you at least read those 9 code of conduct? When was the last time that you read that 9 code of conduct?
We follow, in the life. Try to follow.
How many of us really read that code of conduct?
Yeah.
Or read it at least? Thank you very much.
Follow.
When was the last time you looked at it? So which means let's not talk philosophy here, because I know those things are there. If you would have followed it, you would have been in a different place today. He would not be sitting on the wheelchair today.
He's not
The
in
fact is, all this is happening because we have put that 9 code of conduct in a framed album. We are not looking at it. We are not living it. So we are using these words because it's convenient to use it. Like Bhagavan asked a question, what is love? A boy replied, Swami, love is God. Swami said, idiot, that is my answer. Love is God is I said, what have you understood? And there was a blank. We are very smart in repeating, we have become parrots. In the world of computers, we have become another computer. Our memories are very good. Swami spoke on Satyam Sundram, page number 36, paragraph number 2, line number 4. Who cares? Bhagavan puts it very strong words. He said a barrel of donkey's milk is waste than a spoonful of cow's milk. He is very, very strong in these things. Let us not misrepresent him. Let us not misrepresent him. It's high time we realize that we have a Lord of the universe who is guiding us personally, and we have taken him lightly and taken for granted. We claim to be knowing him, we know nothing about him. A simple question, you all are been old devotees. None of you know what was the name of the organization which Swami installed. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. No, sir. Isn't it ironical? And we all belong to Sai organization. If we don't know the name of the organization, how do you know what it stands for? As I said, nothing, not even a word, Bhagavan utters without meaning it. His finger does not move without a purpose. And Bhagavan puts it more strongly. He says, not even a leaf moves without my will. And under that circumstances, he gave his name to the organization. He gave a name to us. We are Sai students, we are Sai youth, we are Sai devotees. And what do we do in return? We don't even acknowledge him. We don't even know what he is. We don't know his life story. We don't know why he started this organization. We don't know the organization's name, first of all. It's disappointing, right? The organization's name was Sri Sathya Sai Seva Organization, not Seva Dal. Sri Sathya Sai Seva Organization.
Yes.
What does the Sathya Sai Seva Organization stand for? Suppose an outsider walking out, he sees lovely bhajans going on here, he's impressed. He says, wow man, you all sing very well. Well-trained people. He walks inside and says, hey, what is this place? Let's do a role play here. Anybody ready volunteering here?
Spiritual organization.
Sir, please.
Spiritual organization.
Is a spiritual organization? Is he correct?
No.
Sir, they are defying you. I'm sorry. Who's defying it?
Service organization.
He's a service organization. You're a spiritual organization. Yes, auntie.
Selfless service.
Selfless service. Now we have to define that selfless. Auntie, that fellow will run away. He doesn't understand selfless. He'll run. Who are we? Anybody else? Let me ask. Now you're not replying, so I'll ask now. What kind of organization it is? It is a service organization. What kind of organization it is? Service organization. Yes, sir.
Service organization.
Okay, let me put it down. How many say service organization? Anybody wants to rephrase this word or just service organization is fine?
Selfless service.
Selfless service. Okay, selfless service organization. Anybody else? So you are the only person who says it is spiritual organization? You are my friend. Anyway, I am with you, don't worry. So nobody want to support this gentleman who says it is spiritual organization? You want to support? You have a friend here now. Thank you. Anybody else who wants to join this group? Thank you. Oh, fourth one also, 4.5. Very good.
Spiritual is part of it, you know. It's part of it.
She said, look at ourselves. Isn't it beautiful? A person walking by asks 5 people, he gets 5 answers. He said, thank you very much, keep your organization to yourself. Isn't that funny?
Spirituality is part of service.
No, correct, but he won't understand. How do you say to him? I'm giving you an illustration of how we are misrepresenting our Lord. A person coming in asking you a simple question, who are you guys? And we give him 10 different answers, he gets confused, thank you very much, and he runs away. And we wonder, why our organization is not developing? Why we are not getting our local people around? Bhagavan says, America? Where are Americans? You know, all fellow Indian gone there and come back. Why this problem? Because none of us have understood him. And we are miscommunicating him. It's very categorically said, it's in the name. That's why I said, what is the name of the organization? The purpose and the mode of this organization is in the name. It is Sathya Sai, Seva. Seva is service, organization. Sathya Sai represents spirituality, Seva is service. We are spiritual service organization. We are not either service nor only spiritual. We are spiritual service organization. Now what is this? What is this new thing I said it right now? There is anything new here? All of you know it, right? We all know. That's the tragedy of life today. Everybody knows everything. Talk to a kindergarten student in private school, he will tell you Bhagavad Gita right now. But nobody understands. Anyway, spiritual and service organization, what does it mean? Because when you say we are service organization, there are 100 organizations right outside who are doing mammoth service. Right? You have that, what is the way? Amway, this Red Cross. There are so many organizations, they are doing amazing service work. How are they different from us? Bhagavan gave us a name. Do you think you wanted to compete with Red Cross? We have no liking of that nature, right? But they are also doing service, we are also doing service. So why does God have to create another organization?
More people.
For people?
More people.
Poor people? No. They are also serving poor people, sir. Now don't degrade them so much.
More people. More.
More people? Ah.
Manava Seva, Matava Seva.
No, that's all Swami's words. What is the difference between service done by them and what is supposed to be done by us? Whether we do it or not, that is a separate question we can discuss later on. But what is expected of us in this organization?
Service with devotion.
Service love, they also love it. They also serve with love.
Service with devotion.
I want to understand how. What is the element which differentiates it?
We're seeking liberation.
What is spiritual element in that? What is the element which you call it spiritual? Swami's name is, that's what messing up. We are falling there.
Love and compassion. Love and compassion.
Auntie, they love it very much. They also serve with love. You can't beat them. They also serve with love. You should see them serving. They go to the remotest part of the places and serve. Love is not missing. Yes, ma'am.
Devotion and faith.
Auntie, you need more definitions now. Yes, sister.
To make people aware of who Sathya Sai is.
Oh no. We are not here to promote Sai Baba. He doesn't need anybody's promotion. Not even a single devotee is converted by any one of us. We are all directly connected to him. He does not expect us to go and shout, Sai Baba, Sai Baba. No. He says you live, the world should look at you and ask, who are you? They should tell on your face, he's a Sai devotee. We are expected to conduct in a manner that the world can acknowledge him through us. That's why we feel sad. We are not living up to the expectation of our Lord. Before he said, my life is my message.
Yeah.
And recently he said, your life should be my message. Are we living up to that? That question should be remain answered by you all. Yes, sir.
Service with love and no gains.
Service with love and no gain. Ambiguous sentence, even they do that much.
No.
The only difference here is, and that is a spiritual element, which Bhagavan says, when we are supposed to go and serve, we are not serving them, we are serving ourselves. All of you know that, right? See, I know that. Everybody knows it. That is the difference. When we go and serve, we are expected to believe that we are serving God in them, who is God in us. So we are actually serving ourselves. The person whom you go and do a sandwich service or a soup kitchen, I have done this myself, you can try it out, question answers. If you do not go and give your food today, what happens to them? Do they go hungry? Certainly not. Somebody else comes and feeds them. So you did nothing great. Just because you go for your own satisfaction and liberation. So Bhagavan says, you are serving for your own gain, your own betterment. Don't think that you are helping somebody. So the first thing hits you is, when you serve anybody, you are truly serving yourself. And then he takes you one step forward and he says, when you serve, know that you are only offering, one God is offering to another God. And that element of awareness while serving makes this service as spiritual. And if we do not serve like that, then again we have failed our Lord. Then we are no different from anybody else. Then the purpose of Bhagavan coming on earth, giving us his name, is fruitless. You know how we started this journey of our service activities with Bhagavan? That has been an interesting story, I would say, now, when I look back. I was, I think, in my graduation when Bhagavan announced, boys, this summer, if you come early, see, Bhagavan will never say come early. Or he'll never say do this. He'll say, if you want to do that, he'll always put it, the question, he will throw it in such a manner that you have to make the call, whether you want to do it or not. He will never force you. That is his beautiful style. He will die that he would command us and say, do this. He will always say, according to me, this should be done, rest is your wish. So he will always put it like that. So one day he comes and says, boys, this summer if you come early, I will take you all for village work. So he said, man, Bhagavan, any time with Bhagavan is great. So we all landed early. But to our pleasant surprise, he not only called us early, he got his tailor and got dresses made for us. Khaki dresses, with a brown colored pant and shirt. All of us, the whole college was wearing khaki dress. That was, I think, the only day when we were wearing color and coming to mandir. So we all got khaki dress from Bhagavan. He himself gave it. So when he comes, he ordered, I think, 2 or 3 buses. Brand new buses, he got it made. Buses were fitted with mic systems and sound systems and everything so that we can go singing. He expects us to sing and go. So we sing bhajans and we have our antakshari, we play and go. On top of it, how it started, our day started like that. See, Bhagavan used to, like as I mentioned to you, in those days there was no hall. The Kulwant hall was not there. It was an open ground. So buses would literally come into the compound area of the mandir. And Bhagavan, early morning we used to leave around 6:30 we would leave. So he would come out from the terrace. He'll give a balcony darshan. And he'll come out and all of us will be assembled underneath. And then buses will be parked behind us. The buses were loaded with food. Okay, all your idli sambars and bananas and mangoes and all fruits are stuffed there. In each bus. Bhagavan would come, look at us, and then give some final instructions, whatever he had to give. then he would usually throw apples or mangoes from top. That was our starting time. So imagine, we start with darshan, with his talk, then he gives you fruits to eat. When you start in the morning at 6:30, you sit in the bus, there are boys singing, playing, and you have food in the bus. So you are eating, munching and going for so-called service. We had no clue the service meant, because it was like a picnic for us. We are going to do something. And we had nice fun because Bhagavan was guiding it. We reached a spot. The area was remote villages where nobody has gone. No government agencies, no vehicle has traveled to the remote areas. He sent us there. We cleaned up the path, the small, like these kind of lanes were there. We cleaned up that, made a wider road for people to walk and come in and out. There were people we found, they were so remote, they had not seen even a four-wheeler. They could not speak any language. They could not speak even the normal Telugu. They were speaking some other language, so we had to have translator there. So we found such places also. And Bhagavan was sending us. At around 10 o'clock, Bhagavan sent us breakfast. My boys must be tired. They have worked for 2 hours already. So breakfast comes. So fresh breakfast. Not the food which is in the bus, it is still there. But we get fresh breakfast at around 10:30. We have our breakfast. Then around 12:30, lunch comes. Fresh lunch. We have lunch. Then around 3:30, snacks, tea comes. And to top it up, many times he would himself come. He would come himself with fruits in his hand and he'll give to each one of us on his own. So imagine, that was so-called service we did. We had a picnic time. We used to go around singing, dancing, and then play, clean some area. Who cares? They're like fleet of boys, just clean the area and then eat again. Clean a little bit, eat again. Then Swami comes, he feeds, eat again. So it was like a fun trip. We celebrated our 10-15 days like that. We had good time. But we never realized that he was inducting us into the most auspicious, most purposeful activity of life. That was service. Because at night when we used to sit down together, we never spoke about idlis and fruits we ate. Maybe a quick mention of what Bhagavan gave us. What we all talked about was that child, when we fed him, how did he look at you? That old lady, when we covered her with a cloth, how did she feel? The expressions of those villagers, those people, started flashing and gave us a kind of strange satisfaction of helping somebody. Before we realized we were hooked onto it. And then every year we used to do this. This became our annual activity. Today it is part of the curriculum of the institute. Every student has to do village service activities. It's part of the curriculum. But that time it was initiated like that. So imagine our starting point. Starting with a nice darshan, Pad Namaskar, fruits, all that. Then at 4 o'clock he would leave. And he'll say, boys, I'm going back, you follow. Then we would finish, wind up by 5 o'clock and we'll land at Mandir. So we are all dirty, with dust and all that. We'll come straight to Mandir. And as soon as we land, he will be waiting for us in the portico. And as we land, he said, my boys have come. They must be tired. And he would again give us mangoes or apples. So we used to have last finale of mango and apple. Then we had unlimited food ordered. So canteen was open for us. You can eat whatever you want, as much as you want. And the special menu was made by Bhagavan. Because we are tired. Because my boys are tired. They have worked so hard. So they should be given food free and more. So we used to have food. Then Bhagavan would send instructions. Ask them to sleep early. Because they have to get up early. I can't tell you, it touches sometimes. Even think of it. What a care. Even though what he was inducting us into was for our good, but he did it as if we are doing a favor to somebody. He loved us, he cared for us, and we continued living like that. Years rolled by when this has become our habit to do service. We left the portals, but we realized that was the only way to go back to him. So when we used to go for village activity, we as an alumni took initiative. Then we go and tell Swami, we are starting this activity. Swami said, very good, take namaskar. So now the fruits were missing, the buses were missing, because we are organizing our own self, but he was ready. So whenever we go for village work, he would give us namaskar. I am going for service, Swami. Yes, very good, go. So namaskar, go. Finish that, come back, Swami will finish. Very good, take namaskar. So namaskar became our point of contact. The whole motivation of doing something was, I finish this village work because namaskar. So you go and take namaskar, go and do your service. Come back and take namaskar. And in the middle, little bit of vibhuti also will come. So those were like perks. So that continued for some more time. After a few years, when we are expected to have grown up, but we are forcing ourselves to remain kids, we went to him, Swami, we are going for village work. And he says, so? Now that question had never come to us. We are not prepared for it. He said, Swami, village work. He said, so? And we are like, so? So now we have lost our words only. We didn't know how to justify our activity. He stood for a few seconds, then he turned towards us and says, do you brush? Another question which did not make sense at that time. Can you imagine Swami asking, do you brush? And we are like, I guess so. Is it a trick question? We don't know. And Bhagavan immediately said, should I give you namaskar for that also? So thank you for brushing, take namaskar. So we were like totally gone. We had no guts to even get up now. And he said, the way you brush, the way you take care of yourself, you are supposed to take care of others. That is your duty as a human being. If you do not serve, you are not qualified to call yourself a human being. And he walked out. We sat there, in fact we sunk there. We did not know what hit us. But then he came and gave namaskar anyways. He was sweet, he was kind. And when I got up from taking namaskar, he turned and he said, you value my words, I value your prayer. These statements are etched in the heart, every word of his. You value my prayer, I value your words. But then we learned our lesson that we cannot ask him namaskars before we go for work, because that's our duty to do it. So when we came back, when he was in a mood, he would be kind enough to give us namaskar. Otherwise namaskar would delete it from the system. Now we are supposed to do service. Then we thought, how do we remain in contact with him, Because that's our old habit. As a child, we like to get Swami's nod, his look. We do everything just to get his look. Even we write a letter, we don't want to pass on the letter. You know why? Because the point of writing a letter is not to tell him something. Is that when he picks up the letter from you, he looks at you. That second of eye contact is the purpose of writing the letter. So its whole intention is different. So when we thought about it, how do we communicate? We wrote a report to Bhagavan. Now our style of writing is slightly different. Because we firmly believe, and we want to drill it into our system, that we are fortunate to be part of this service activity, and we are thankful, grateful to you, Bhagavan, for allowing us to be part and experience this joy. So we report to him, this is what we all were fortunate to do, these are the beneficiaries, this is what happened, so many people got treated. We gave a complete report. Now when we were submitting reports, Bhagavan was accepting it, but that one day, he threw that bomb on us straight. He said, boys, as long as you remember that you have done the service, you have not done the service. Now we had nothing else. And we recall, from the time when we started service with him, when he started giving us mangoes and fruits and namaskars and buses and dresses to go for service, till a time when he said, if you remember that you have done service, you have not done the service. What a growth, what a journey of learning what service could be. Our Lord does not sleep. He for 24 hours continuously thinks about others. Somebody said, Swami, what service can I do? He said, are you blind? Don't you have heart? Every second you can see an opportunity to serve. And you're wondering what to serve, how to serve? See, he finds opportunity to serve anywhere. You think of it and he does it. He does it in such a large scale that we can't even comprehend. But he does not wait for any recognition. So he does that and he expects us to do it. Whatever he lived, he created this organization. When he created this organization, it was a dynamic organization. That's why you find this organization sometimes too flexible and sometimes too very vague. The reason is that he expects it to remain like that so we can grow. Somebody went and told him, Bhagavan, a lot of politics here, Swami, in the organization. So much dirt. And Bhagavan called him and he said, have you been to Dhobi Ghat? You know, the washerman's place? In India, if you go to Parthi and all, you see there's a place where all the washermen bring the dirty clothes and they bang it to wash it. I don't know if you've seen it or not. They just hit the stone and they wash. Or wherever you see, suppose you see the drainage of the washing, after you wash your clothes, you see a drainage pipe, you will see all the dirty water coming out. If you go to your washing machine also. So he said, have you seen that washerman's place? He said, yes, Swami. He said, what do you see all around you? It's all dirty and muddy water. He said, this place is washerman's place. Everybody's dirt is being washed here. So if you look around, you will only find dirt. But when you pick up the cloth, it is spick and span and white. So when my people come to me, come to this organization, they will get thrashed. They will get kicked around. They will be mocked, brushed. But what comes out, if you look around, you will find dirt. But what comes out of the people will be pure. Who can define and beautifully the essence of the whole system of his working? People have, can you believe people have guts to go and complain, Swami? Swami, that person is very rude. You know your Sevadals outside? And Bhagavan said, don't you think I know it? So if I know it, I have kept him for a purpose, so that he can kick you and make you bend. You can lose your ego that I am a judge somewhere. No, bend down. And ordinary Sevadal means to sit down. Sit down, sir. Sir, how dare you talk to me like that? There he doesn't listen. You sit down, otherwise I'll throw you out. That is our Sevadal. They are all our instruments to kick us. As Kasturi Garu used to tell us that he said he will, with all his pranks, Bhagavan would hook you, then cook you. And this cooking process is various styles. He keeps cooking us in different ways. But he hooks us in a very different ways also. Sometimes through dreams, sometimes whatever, he does that. If you have anything in particular, please tell, because my stories will continue like that, because it's all Bhagavan's. But anyway, if you have something in mind which you would like to ask or talk about, please raise your hand. Yes, sir.
You would like your personal experiences with Swami.
What is personal experiences?
I leave it to you to define.
So, because you asked me, so I have to clarify. Okay, first let us explain what is experience.
Personal experience.
What is experience? What is personal part here? What is experience?
Experience is what we have gone through with him, both internally and over a period of time.
I asked one of my senior brothers, I said, boys, you were with Bhagavan in that era which we envy. As a student, I am telling you. Because they used to live with Bhagavan. Practically live with him. Like his room and their room was next door. Breakfast with Swami. In fact, he would come and wake them up in the morning. There were many boys who would sleep on, in front of him. And they would be up, but they won't get up. Because Swami would come and say, hey, wake up, man. So they used to wait for Bhagavan to come and say, wake up. So because as soon as he hits them, they would turn and take namaskar. So they would wait for him to come. Even if they are up, they will be looking like Swami, whatever. They will be lying on the floor waiting for him to come. They were of that era. And I asked them, I said, brother, you have such a treasure in your heart. Why don't you share? And he said to me one sentence. And I could feel him. He said, who would share a honeymoon phase to anybody in public? Sir, it is not an experience of external life. It's a part of our personal life. To share a heart out is not easy. But we understand that because the privilege which Bhagavan gave is not something which we have deserved or whatever, and it's not easy. That's why Bhagavan expects us to talk about Him, talk about His times. Because so that people can enjoy and at least through the stories live those moments. When I request you, whenever you hear these stories, don't worry about people. Don't worry about what happened to X, Y, Z, how close X, Y, Z is, because that will divert you. Always think about Him. Because these are His stories. I might have been in one scene, but it is His story. So when we listen to these stories, always have the focus towards Him. Because by mistake also, if you move your focus to these jokers, we are doomed. By mistake also, if I get this ego that I had something great, I am doomed right there. So let's enjoy Him. What is experience if not a story? Any story with Lord which has transformed you becomes an experience. Otherwise it remains a story. All these moments which I am sharing you, they have transformed us. They have hit us somewhere or other. They have touched the nerve, they have touched the element which has shaken us. Yes, sir.
To comment on that, I would think we all have to learn that whoever speaks here, your experience is your experience. It can never be ours. And the main thing we have to learn is the teaching behind the experience.
I would really go a little further from that, sir. It is not my experience. If I tell you the 90% of the story which I am narrating to you did not happen to me, why do you limit your joys by doing that? When you read today Bible, or you read Bhagavatam, or you read Krishna's stories, don't you feel happy about it? When you feel joy which happened like 7,000 years back, imagine you are part of today's Bhagavatam. If Bible was written today, you are part of it. We all are part of that happening, which after 100 years, 50 years, your children and grandchildren will say, Dad, you lived when God walked on earth? Yes, we are part of that story today. Why not be happy about it? Why demarcate and say that, oh, this person is sitting next to him, so it is his story? No, it is His story and we are all part of it. Enjoy that. You will be more happy. We are part of that phenomena. Whether we know it or not, we are. Let not we repent later on when your grandson comes and tells you, you were there, did you see him? Yes, I saw him on television. I said, Dad, I also see him on television. What is the big deal about you living there? Can you imagine living with Jesus? Walking with Krishna? Playing with Ram? We can't do that. But we can, and we are doing it. This is an opportunity to see Him alive, walking. Somebody asked Bhagavan, what is the purpose of descent of avatar? Why does God descend? He said, normally people think that God comes on earth to punish the wicked and reward the good. So that is the side outcome of my coming. I have come to give joy to my devotees, to fulfill their yearning of years and lives. They have craved and prayed for me, so I have come to give joy to them. And when I come, these are side effects of punishing the wicked, curing the good. These are all side effects. But what He comes here is to give us joy. Let us not waste through our illogical explanations. Enjoy Him. Enjoy His every minute, every moment of life. Yes, brother.
What are some of the day-to-day things that you do to make sure that you are following the path as He would like you to follow? As a
One day I asked Bhagavan, Swami, I don't know how to pray. I'm just sharing with you something. I said, Swami, I don't know how to pray. People do so much of worship for you. I have no clue how to do formal worship. Even though He has taught us Veda chanting and all that, but I am not a formal prayer person. I can't sit down and say, oh, doesn't happen to me. And I get lost there. So Bhagavan looked at me and said, why do you want to know? I said, why do I want to know? He said, Swami, everybody is doing some kind of puja. I have no idea how to do puja. You know, said, like I was feeling guilty that, should I learn? Bhagavan said, hey, no need, just think of me, that's enough. How can you find such a beautiful, flexible God who says, don't even worship, just think of me? I would say he has changed the whole philosophy of living. Just think of him is enough. Forget about chanting, forget about yoga, Veda, Havan, Boom, Bam, nothing. Our Lord is unique. He says, think of me and that's enough. Enjoy. What more can you do except thinking about Him? And what we do is nothing, just to recharge ourselves, keep working on Him. I had a friend who used to drive, wipe the next seat and say, okay, hop and God bless that. That's his way of inviting me in life. He will start driving, Swami, hop in, let's go for a drive. So they are chatting. Now I'm sure if you look at him from far, you'll say he's gone mad, because he's talking to air. I have seen many students who will walk, he'll take a step on the left and say, Swami, start. And they'll walk together. He's walking alone but talking like that, as if he's talking to Swami. Why do you do all that? Bhagavan gave a 3-step process for that. And it's a very, very, very critical and important thing to understand how he teaches you. He says, first pretend to be good. Pretend to be my devotee. That's why he gave you a white dress to wear. At least pretend. I know that you are all waste. You are black inside. But at least outside become better. Pretend to be saints. You know, pretend. So he says, ladies wear properly, gents, boys wear white dress. Why? Do you think he likes to see you in white? No, he wants at least you should become, we are useless anyway, so at least pretend to be good. So he gives you pretend. And he says, keep pretending to be good, at least keep pretending. Then ultimately you will tend to be good. And when you tend to be good for a longer time, you will end to become good. See, this is our Bhagavan. He takes you from baby step. Pretend to sit straight. Look like that, but still pretend. Pretend to be good. You will tend to be good and you will end in good. Who can explain us greatest philosophies in such simple words? But we also have to keep in mind what we have got. It is amazing what we have. I am just reminded of a story and I have narrated it before, so I will repeat it. See, we don't sometimes comprehend, our own blessings. There is a sage, there was in fact, a very contemporary saint, Swami Shivananda. I'm sure most of you should have heard his name. When he was young and a wandering monk, he was one of he falls in the category of Himalayan sages. A very, very giant of a personality and a spiritual person, very high. We hold him in a very high esteem. When he was a wandering monk, just come back from Himalayan meditation, he used to see Baba in his vision. But he never knew who he was. He just had a feeling that God has taken this form, but he had no idea whether the form was in the physical body or whatever, but he used to get his visions. One day while wandering, he was in Chennai, Madras and Chennai of today. And he saw Bhagavan's picture on somebody's house. People have a habit of putting Swami's photograph up on the front. So he saw that picture, he went in the house, knocked door, and said, who is that? And the lady of the house very politely said, he is Bhagavan, he is God. Our God, we follow him. He said, how did you find him? He said, he lives in Puttaparthi. Shivananda was surprised, shocked. He said, God is right now on earth? So she was a little scared, like, why is this mom getting crazy here? He said, yes, he lives in Puttaparthi. He said, how can I see him? If God is walking on earth, how can I see him? She said, very simple, take a bus, go to station, take a train, go to Dhamavaram, take a bus and you are in Puttaparthi. Very simple, right? Shivananda was shocked. He said, seeing God is so simple that you take a bus and go to see him? He immediately ran from there, took a bus went to the station, took a train, went to Dharmavaram. In those days, the train did not go to Puttaparthi directly. And suddenly there was no flying comfortable. So he took a train and went to Dharmavaram, which was the nearest station at that time. He got down, it was a late night, and the last bus had left. Shivananda asked for the next bus. They said, Swamiji, bus will come in the morning. 6 o'clock is the latest bus now. So Shivananda said, I will wait in the bus stop only. He was so excited to see his God. He never could imagine that God was walking on earth and it is so easy to see him by just buying a ticket and going. So he waited at the bus stop. But as destiny would have it, he fell asleep in the morning. When he woke up, he found himself in a cave in Himalayas. He was teleported to Himalayas. He started crying. It seems he heard Bhagavan's voice there and says, Shivananda, your time has not come yet to come to me. You meditate here and I will bless you here. And Shivananda continued to bless, work, study, meditate there. This story was told by his disciple. It so happened, in Hyderabad, one of the Sai devotees, like any one of you and us, he used to hold bhajans at his place every Thursday night. And you know, as the customary, when bhajans are on, we keep our doors open. Anybody can come inside and sit. We don't check anybody. This man started observing that for a few weeks, he used to see new faces coming to his bhajan. New faces, new people coming. So he got curious and he asked some people, said, have you recently come to this locality? They said, we have recently come to Hyderabad. He said, how did you hear about this house and this bhajan? And he said, which is very remarkable, he said, there is a sadhu standing at the railway station. As soon as the train stopped, he starts shouting that any one of you who wants peace of mind or happiness, go to so-and-so house on Thursday night, attend the bhajan and you will get it. There is a sadhu soliciting for everybody to attend the bhajans. So this man got a little scared. He said, who is this person who is sending people to my house? So he goes to the station to really see. And when he saw, it was true. As soon as the train stopped, a sadhu came and he started shouting, any one of you who want peace of mind and happiness, go to this address. On Thursday night, you will get peace of mind and happiness. He was scared. He tried to go close to the sadhu. As soon as sadhu saw him, he said, stop. Don't come near me. So he was more puzzled. He said, sir, you are sending people to my house. I was just wondering, why? He said, no, you are doing God's worship and you have a very pure place. I am sending people. He said, sir, can I touch your feet? He was trying to come close and Sadhu said, don't come near me. You have to do some, he gave him some 2 conditions before you can touch my feet. Before you can come close, he said the first condition is, you will not touch my feet. The second condition, I will touch your feet. Then you can come close to me. So this person got more confused. He said, why should you touch my feet? I am an ordinary person, sir. Why I want to touch my feet? And that sadhu said, sir, you are blessed to be his devotee. The Lord is on earth. You can go in and out of his place anytime you wish. How great you are. The land where my Guru was not allowed to enter, the land where my Guru cannot go, who is not permitted to go, you are allowed to go in and out whenever you want. How great you are. So don't you think I should touch your feet? We cannot comprehend our own strength, our own goodness, good fortune. The Bhagavan has risen us to such a level where saints are craving to be. The sages who have worshipped for thousands of years for their glimpse, we have got him for hours together. One day we asked him foolishly, Bhagavan, we heard, you said Vatavriksha is there, that tree, meditation tree, great sages will come and meditate here, but we only see some Westerners meditating here, Swami. Swami said they come when you are not, when you are sleeping, and the great things are happening. Then Swami, we heard that there are Himalayan sages whom you don't allow them to come here. Why don't you allow? And he said, if they come, where will you go? Because when they come, we won't have a chance to stand there. It is His grace that He is allowing like useless people like us to come and enjoy His proximity. And the people who have been craving and praying, because of whom this whole creation stands, they are made to wait. What a good fortune. I recall another story which happened in fact last year. You know, when you enter Mandir, we always remove our slippers there. Today they have organized, they made shelves, but before it was very disorganized, so you could just throw your slippers and run inside. So in those days, some boys came out, they were about to leave after darshan, and they saw one Sardar boy. You know, Sardars are in community, they wear turban. One turban Sardar boy was doing something with the shoes. So they thought that, is he stealing shoes or what is he doing there? So they asked him, hey, what are you doing? And the boy turned out. He had one slipper in his hand, he was wiping it. He turned out, he had tears in his eyes. And they asked him, what are you doing? He said, sir, I am a Sikh boy. In my religion, they are said that highest service is to clean the shoes of people. Because I see you all doing namaskar to Bhagavan so often, and I am such a small person, I don't have the chance to go near him. So I thought I can touch your feet only, and I'll be blessed. A person cleaning our shoes outside feels blessed and grateful because we are blessed to be inside. Can you imagine the power of that? What has He given to us? It's so difficult sometimes to even comprehend what we are getting. Bhagavan is so beautiful. He has given every second of His life for us. How many of you know Him at least that well to know His physical lifestyle? I'll ask you a few quiz questions. I know, I don't make it emotional here, but let's get back. But it's good to know Him. Good to know how He lives. How He's lived all His life. Quiz question ready? What is Swami's height?
5'3".
What?
5'3".
5'2", 5'3", 5'4"?
5'3".
5'3".
5'1".
No, 5'3".
5'3", 5'1". So let's start from 5 and go on, something like it. Come on!
Yes, 5.
5'4".
Yes, 5.
5'4". You said it?
5'3".
5'4", 5'4".
5'3".
Yeah. What is his weight?
108.
See, everybody knows that. 108 pounds. You know the size of his room where he lived all his life? I think over 60-65 years he lived in that room. How big was that room?
10 by 10.
Thank you. Who said that? You made a guess? You have a wild guess, Rani. Yes, he lived in a 10 by 10 room. Our bathrooms are larger than that sometimes. That was his bedroom. In the name of furniture, he had one simple cot, fan on top. And as a luxury, he had a dressing table with a long mirror. Then he would stand and watch that he's looking good. So when he comes out, we should not feel bad. Swami, you didn't comb your hair properly. So he's very particular how he presents himself, because he presents it for us. He wants to be perfect because he's presenting as an example to us. Some people forced him to have air conditioning. He's refused. He said, air conditioning I don't want. It will make too much of. Not good. Then they forced him to have a cooler at that time. The cooler made so much of noise. Swami said, hey, it's making too much of noise. Devotees are getting disturbed outside. When you send letters to him, when you write letters to Swami, he reads them. physically he goes through the letters. And you know what? Where he reads them? He does not read in his bedroom. Because at night, if he switches on the light, he says, it disturbs my devotees. Because when my bedroom light is on, devotees are waiting outside with the hope that they may see Swami's hair or something walking around.
Reads him in his bathroom.
So he does not read in the bedroom. He switches on his bathroom lights and he reads under that. What a sacrifice. For who? That's our Lord. That's how He loves us. That's how He cares for us. Every second He thinks about us only, nothing else. His only constant thing is how He can make it better. And what does He expect from us?
Love.
We go to Him and say, Swami, we want to do something for you. He can't carry gifts for Him because He never comes. If He carry a box of gifts, He'll run away. He doesn't come in close to us only. The moment He see a box with another hand, He'll not come. He'll just take a diversion. So we have to hide it. Olden days we used to hide, and as soon as He comes, we'll pick it out. And then He learned the trick. He said, you fellows are naughty, so He'll not come also. So we learned our lesson. Then we caught Him and said, Swami, we want to do something for you. And His standard answer used to be, you be happy. Serve your parents, serve yourself, and I'm happy. One who gave His life, His time, everything to us. Free education, free health, free life. What He expects back? You be happy. I recall when I was a student and I used to do, as they mentioned, Bangla. So one day in the garage of Swami, they had moved the car out and using as a green room, we're getting dressed up. And it was early morning, 23rd November, I think 1985 or something, it could be, 85, 86. Bhagwan, we were all getting dressed, we had come early morning to get dressed up and we were all wearing our turbans and all that. And suddenly Bhagwan came inside. Early morning, he says, Swami, you? We had no idea what to say to him now. See, we are so foolish, we don't know what to talk to God also. He comes and stands and he's looking at it. Makeup is done. How are you looking? He's looking at everybody's dresses. Imagine devotees are outside waiting and he comes from the behind back door so that nobody can see him when he enters. And there I saw his robe was torn. He had, in hurry, he had worn a torn robe and come down. So I told the boy, I said, he's wearing it. Birthday, we have a concept. Birthday means fresh dress, new dress, man. And he's come with a wrinkled robe and a torn dhoti. He said, man, you are such a hurry, he wanted to see you all. He just ran. And he comes and asks, did you all eat? I said, Swami, we are just doing. He said, no. We called and he said, arrange for breakfast in the mandir. The bhajan hall was made vacant. They made breakfast, they served breakfast there for us. Just imagine having birthday breakfast with Swami in the mandir. And he was standing next to us and, foolishly, like, I want to say something to Swami. So, Swami, happy birthday, Swami. We had nothing else to say. Swami, happy birthday. He turned his head. I'm always happy. You be happy. And that has puzzled me for years. How can somebody always be happy? Look at his life. He gets up in the morning. He opens the door around 6:30 in the morning. And he has people standing and complaining to him about whole organization. They give reports. Swami, this happened, this didn't happen. Problem. Poor God comes down, devotees are waiting. We are not waiting to say, Swami, we celebrate your union. We celebrate Swami, stomachache, headache, my son's job, my daughter's marriage, my promotion, my wife is killing me, husband is done. We have all these problems, letters, not even one letter will be some Swami, I love you. It is like Swami has so much of problem. And he smilingly picks up the letters, smilingly takes, calls for interview. In interview what happens? Again, same problem. Swami, my stomach ache, this pain, that pain, everything starts there. I'm traveling, I didn't travel, everything is happening. He finishes those interviews, then comes out, who's sitting? All the operational heads are sitting. Swami, hospital problem, water project problem, institute problem. So we are all sending reports to him. He's discussing them. Then he goes for lunch. What does he eat in lunch? Do you know?
Ragi muda.
See, auntie and all are very perfectly tuned. And the quantity which he eats, if you see, you will faint. I would disappear if I have to eat that much. Forget about losing weight, I will disappear. He eats nothing. He continuously goes on. Then he goes on, he takes a break for 1 hour. In that 1 hour, we think he's resting, but he finishes the letters. He writes articles. He used to write books. That time he used to do those things. He'll come back again in the afternoon and do what? Again the same round. One day Professor Anil Kumar told him in a humorous way, he said, Swami, if you give me all the 3 worlds, wealth of the world's nations, and you want me to become God, I would not become God. Swami said, hey, what are you talking about? Why won't you become God? Swami, look at yourself, Swami. Same life from all these years, Swami. Morning till evening, same thing. You don't take a break also. You eat nothing. You get up, you hear only complaints. I can't handle that lifestyle. But in that humorous way, he conveyed what a tough life it is. He doesn't take a break. And Bhagavan used to joke with us. He said, why do you work for a few months and then he said, too much work, I need a holiday, let's go to Hawaii. And look at me, even Sundays are busy. More busy than the normal day.
Right.
That's our Lord. That's how he has lived all his life. Only caring and loving and taking care of us. Today when the time comes to respond back, what do we do? Take it easy. How many of you ever questioned why he's sitting on the wheelchair? How many of you ever wondered?
He is not in the wheelchair, he is in the walking chair. I never call wheelchair. He's not in the wheelchair. He just shows the drama.
Auntie, I love your love. And I know my Lord is very strong. Nothing can touch him.
If he can cure others, because I was just in Puttaparthi last month.
Correct.
And I left the hope of walking. And with his grace, I'm walking now. And my husband, he took the appointment for the doctor. I cancelled. I said, I have this doctor only. And he is going to. And he treated me with his darshan.
Perfect, auntie. There is no complaints to that. Hats off to you and your devotion.
Just surrender to him completely.
Certainly, true. When your child has a problem, auntie, what do?
I leave it on Swami.
You leave it on Swami.
Yes. I explain.
If your child sits on the chair for too long, what would you do?
Help him to walk.
Well, help him to walk or ask him. Just say Sai Ram and walk.
And if he still continues to sit on the chair, what do?
You pray for his walk.
Will it hurt you?
It will.
Will it hurt you to see your child sitting on the chair for 7, 8, 9 years?
Yeah, it will. Definitely.
Then what do? Sleep comfortably?
No.
Accept it as his will?
His will. That's it.
Huh? You accept it like that?
Yes. 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 That is definite.
These are the thoughts.
We cannot do nothing.
Correct. We can do. One of the boys did not study well. He appeared for an examination. And he didn't do well in the exam. He came back crying. You know, when you do professional course examination, if you lose that, you lose a year. So he was crying.
He came back.
He came back to his mother, crying. Mom saw, typical mother, she started crying. Says, what happened? Says, Mom, I have failed. Now all the complaint of not studying doesn't appear. Now I have not done well. I will fail. Mother said, are you sure? He said, yes, Mom, I have not. So mother started crying. Now they are looking at the life of a child. He has lost a ear, for sure. Then what happens next, we don't know. So she started crying. And the worst of all, easier rescue. Go to the Bhagavan's altar and starts crying on him. She started crying. Whole night she cried. Then they cooled down. After a few weeks, result came. This fellow got 72 marks. He had passed with flying colors. He was very happy. He came smiling home. Mom, I think I did a mistake. I must have done well. So mom said, all said and done, but Swami's grace you have passed, let us go to Parthi and offer our gratitude. So mom took him to hospital, Puttaparthi. When they reached there, Bhagavan called them for an interview. As soon as they both landed in the room, Bhagavan said, you naughty fellow, first you don't study, you run around, you waste your time, don't do well in exam, and then you cry, you make your mother cry, and she makes my life miserable. And then she turned to her mother, do you know what he did? Now mom is a little confused. He said, Swami, he didn't do well. And when he got 72, ask him how much he did. And that fellow was like wondering now what to say. The whole thing is open now. And Bhagavan said, he only appeared for 27 marks. He was supposed to get 27. I changed it. And I made it 72.
And that is also 7 plus 2, 9.
Auntie, when your child is sick, you cry so much and you make life of the God miserable so He can cure your child. When your God is sitting idle, waiting for you to cry for Him, why do you philosophize at that time? Why do we take for granted that it is His will? Why doesn't it pain so much that we stop eating food? Why doesn't it hurt so much that we lose our sleep? Because He's God?
That is His will.
Why do you feel? Why do you have will? Then why don't you have will that your son has failed? Why don't you feel that is also His will? Let him learn on his way. Why do you cry at that time? When your husband doesn't get promotion, when your daughter doesn't get married, why do you make his life miserable? Why don't you take it as His will?
That's what I do.
Why at that time you cry and make everybody feel so much that you have lost something? But when our Lord is sitting, we are quiet. We never think, why is He sitting? Today the tragedy is, there was a time, Bhagavan had a fracture before also. Boys really grabbed him and caught him and said, Swami, we can't see. And he said, I will get up. And within 2 days he got up and walked. There was a time when Swami left Vrindavan. Boys caught him on the street and said, Swami, you can't go. We can't live without you. But Swami said, I have people waiting in Parthi, man. I have got so much of work there. They started crying. And the Swami left. Swami had to leave and he left. It was the afternoon, Bhagavan left. Boys went for lunch. Almost 60% of food was wasted in the dustbin. Nobody felt like eating. They were crying. The whole hostel was crying. And within half an hour, they hear a beeping sound. Bhagavan has come back. And Bhagavan, what excuse he makes? I forgot my key here. As if he had to open some lock there. He said, I forgot my key here. I'll spend some more time with you guys. That's our Lord. When we want it, He changes. He is not dependent on anybody. He can get up like this. Tomorrow he can get up. He can get up at any second. He can do anything he wants. But he has lost that will to do it. What is prayer? Let me ask you, what is prayer? Anybody here?
Talking to God.
Talking to God. Excellent. Best answer. Having a conversation with God is prayer. But what have you done to the prayer today? A business deal. We sit down and we pray, ask things. You give me this, you give me that, Shanti, you want peace. That is also business deal only, no? We have made prayer into a business deal. Yes, sir.
Why do you feel that they've lost the will?
Because of a non-responsiveness of ours. He has been repeating the same sentence over and over here, and there is no feedback. Like when somebody has said, Swami, you are speaking the same thing. He said, what is the point of speaking something new if you don't follow the old? How many times tell you? So he kept quiet. 7 years back, I remember, he said, now onwards, I will not speak. I have taught you all, do, manage things. And he kept quiet. He has not spoken for 7 years after that. No interference, he left people off. And the result was we went more chaotic. The organization, like I'm telling, organizations is going haywire because we don't live up to him. We don't think what he wants. How many of you really feel he's here?
See, he didn't go to Chennai for 13 years before the diagnosis because somebody did something wrong.
Auntie, that I cannot comment on that. But yeah, that's truth. He does not move anything without his will. But the point is, if you do not respond, he will not talk. He will not act.
Right.
But how many of us really feel and understand that he's here? If you feel, do you think you will be sitting the way you do right now? In front of him?
No.
Keep your heart, don't answer me, but think from your side. Would you be the way you are if you are thinking he's here? Would you keep everything the way it is if he's here? See, it's a very subtle thing. I'll give you a small illustration. There is a group from Singapore who came to Puttaparthi. They had done a wonderful celebration of Bhagwan's birthday. Now this audio is very good, so I'm not, but they had done a very good celebration of Bhagwan. So they came back and Swami was talking to them and they said, Swami, we had a wonderful celebration of yours. Bhagwan said, I know. I came. You were singing this song, she was singing that song, he started telling that. I said, Swami, you came? Said, yes. I came and stood there for 2 hours. Swami said, stood? That word came out, stood. I said, Swami, why stood? We had a nice chair for you. He said, where will I sit? On the chair you kept my photograph, my robe, flowers. There was no place to sit. See, he's that person. He wants us to feel, if you want me, how would you want me? You can't keep flowers on it and robes and all that and then you say you sit on top of it. It doesn't work like that with him. He is so personal.
See, I see.
He was talking.
I have been coming here for 25 years. In front of the picture chair, I feel that he is there.
Sure, Auntie.
He's
No doubt
very
about
much
it.
there.
Fine. I'm not denying it at all.
You know, because that picture gives me that inner feeling that he is still there. 25 years to see picture.
No doubt, Auntie. No doubt about it. Bhagavan had proclaimed this many years. He said, time will come and you will see me in 3 places at the same time. You will see me, this time is coming, prepare yourself. He used to only tell us this much. Prepare yourself to witness great thing unfolding in front of you. The time will come when the talks about miracles will not be stories, it will be a real fact people to witness. There will be a time when you will see me at the same time giving darshan in mandir, going on a drive in the car and giving discourse in the auditorium. In Prashanti itself. He said, right now you're here, I appeared in America, I appeared in Africa. Those things will not remain a story. I will do it more prominently. We still have to witness great things unfolding in front of us. And the time has come. In next 3 to 5 years, we'll see great changes happening in the world. He has even proclaimed, let me tell you, I can share this because it's been told so many times. He said, when we were in 80s, he used to tell us, where you are sitting together today, you will be sitting where devotees are sitting. And devotees will be behind you. And then ultimately all of you will be in the Hillview Stadium because the crowds will increase. Today we have reached the stage of outside. Nobody sits in the podium now. All the students are out. Now next stage is darshan in Hillview Stadium. And then he said, the time will come when there will be so many people, the crowd will be so high that I won't be able to give darshan just like that. So I will have to fly. I will fly and give darshan. So people thought maybe helicopter. He said, no helicopter, I will fly. The time has come. Very soon we are going to see that. And it's not something we have to fantasize about. It will happen. Crystal clear, it will happen. Many things he has told us which we are seeing unfolding in front of us. And we enjoy it. There are some things which he said in a casual way also. They are all coming true. He's also proclaimed that he will fly. He will come international travel. He will do one international travel. That is a destiny prophecy. He will fly into America also. Are we ready for that?
Yes.
We'll do a workshop later on sometime to understand whether we are ready or not. I've been doing that workshop now very often because I realized we are not ready. It's a very big thing to call Bhagwan. As I mentioned to you, inviting to a school was a challenge. Imagine inviting him to America. He doesn't require an ordinary reception. The country has to freeze at that time. Are we at that level? Internationally, people are working on his welcome because they know that prophecy will come true. And he said that. There will be no war that way that will kill the whole world. He said, why have I come for that? But yes, things will happen. What is happening because we have messed up enough.
Yes.
The earth has to do equilibrium, so it will do, but nothing will happen. But your Lord is going to come. That is for sure. Are we ready for that? It's not easy to comprehend certain things with Bhagavan, how he functions. But he has done it. He has shown. I'll share some. How much time do we have? I'm just going on. Okay. Any questions, or I can just tell you some stories like that. So, please raise your hand if you have any questions. Yes, sir.
Why did you leave Puttaparthi and came to Canada? Leave that Prasanthi Nilayam, which is...
Auntie, if we had a choice, I think 90% of the students would remain there.
Right. I would remain there if I had a
Yes, that is a problem. When you want to remain there, he kicks you out. When you want to leave, he keeps you there. So it's his choice, Auntie. If you ask me categorically, he instructs get out. Then you can't help it. And it's the truth. If he does not move me out, for example, how would the junior boys would get chance with him? If my seniors were not asked to go out, how do you think I would have got chances with Bhagavan? So it's a chance, it's a letting go process. We all have to let go. We hold a position, we don't want to let go. This is my style of doing bhajan, it has to remain there only. We all have problems in our own levels. I become president, so I have to act in a manner, nobody else will act that way. Finished. President moves, the system moves. Wrong. Systems are Bhagavans, let them remain as systems of God. Person can come and go, but system should remain. It's given by God. We should not tamper. Some people have a geniusness of saying, let's improve upon Bhagavan. Sorry, no chance. He has given a system, follow it. If we have chance, Auntie, none of us would leave. None of us would leave. Even today, if he says, boys, come back, I'm sure you will see some quick tickets moving. We'll be out there. Who cares, Auntie? More and more the years pass, the realization comes more. We know time is not there. The day I land, he doesn't ask me when have you come, he asks me when are you leaving. Can you imagine that? Kab jata? I just came here. So where are you going? Because he knows this fellow will get stuck. So Auntie, that's a different story. Our Lord is sweet, we can't leave him. Yes, sir.
I don't even know why this question's occurring to me. It's kind of quirky, but when do you remember Swami laughing the hardest?
Oh. In my time, and I think all these brothers' time, he used to roar with laughter. We used to have sessions of laughter. If you go to Parthi at that time, the Puttaparthi used to be like a laughing club. Everybody, I'm not joking. He is a great humorist. He can crack jokes at anything.
He himself laughed.
Oh, amazing. I wish I could show you some pictures. I can show you some pictures. You should show me a laptop, let me see if I can pick up something. One day, when we had this our first sports day, we finished our sports day, Swami said, boys, you have played enough. Let's have some fun. I said, what do you mean, Swami? He said, let the teachers play and we'll watch. See, he's like that. He's fun. He said, let these fellows play and we'll watch. So we all are sitting with Bhagavan and all the old teachers are on the ground. And they are playing. You know what they were playing? Of course, lemon and spoon race. Tug of war. And Bhagavan goes, hey, you did cheating there. So you didn't pull properly, pull again. So he's shouting from stage and we are laughing like crazy. And then he had musical chair. Teachers are playing and we are sitting with Bhagavan and Bhagavan is laughing. We used to have sessions, we used to laugh so loudly. He said, hey Kumbhakarna, laugh so loudly. But he would make us laugh, we can't help it. He would crack jokes, I can't tell you. He can be so funny. He's a great humorist and he has an amazing sense of humor. On a physical level, I'm telling you, he can crack on any point. And he imitates people. Classic imitation he does. You walk in front of him, he'll imitate you exactly. Hey, call that fellow. So there was one boy who used to walk like that slightly, you know. And he had to tell him, hey, call that fellow. So he exactly imitated that moment. It was so funny, I can tell you. Bhagavan he's sweet, he's loving. That's why it kills us when we see him sitting on a chair. Because he was so fun. He would run with us. He would say, okay boys, let's have competition. Who will run faster? Swami, we thought he's 60 and we are 30 and that. But he was like, he would run faster than us. I'll tell you a nice story about his physical powers. I think I've told this story somewhere. During our sports day, you know, we have the gymnastics and all that nowadays. I was a gymnast myself in those college days. Don't look at my physique today. So I had a little better physique. So you know, boys are boys everywhere. Whether you are in Parthi or here, we have this habit of, you know, maintaining good body and showing off. But in Parthi, because of dress code, you can't show off. So the only place you can show off is dining room, dining hall, or a gymnasium. So everybody will wear a half sleeves to show off their muscles, biceps and triceps. I had a class friend who used to serve sambar in those days. You know why? Not because he liked to serve sambar. Because it was the heaviest bucket possible, and he could lift it like this. So he would carry like that. He would carry like that. He would carry like this. He said, do you want some? And he would fold his t-shirt further. And he would go, do you want some? And then this hand will not serve normal, he will serve. All the biceps and triceps should turn. So it is like a craze of our youth, you know, that sure the body is perfect and then like triceps and all the abs are perfect. So we used to have a lot of fun and Bhagavan would come and see. One day Bhagavan would come and say, you have become too strong. Who is the strongest among you? So boys turned towards a 6-footer there. The tall giant fellow used to lift buckets and, you know, trolleys himself alone. So they pointed towards him. He said, Swami, he called him. So that fellow came. Now he was feeling a little privileged. I'm the strongest guy here. So 6-footer, Swami said, why is he so strong? Swami, he eats 20 idlis at breakfast. The criteria was he eats 20 idlis, so he is strongest. So Bhagavan said, Acha, you're too strong, huh? Now he's trying to be modest. Swami said, let me test. Let's do arm wrestling. Bhagavan offering to do arm wrestling. Would you like to do arm wrestling with him? No? I would love it. So the table was brought in. Beautiful table was kept in front. Bhagavan sat on one side, it's a start off. So Bhagavan kept his hand. And the boy is feeling shy to hold his hand. Imagine a giant hand of a boy and a little tiny hand of Bhagavan. Swami is very, very soft hand, but he's very firm. If he slaps you, you will really see stars. And trust me, those who have caught it, they know very well. Very tough man. But anyway, Bhagavan kept his hand, said start. So the person held his hand. Swami said, hey, hold tight. Now he was saying, Swami, I should not hurt you. Swami said, don't worry, you take care of yourself. So he held his hand and Bhagavan said, start now. So the arm wrestling started. Now the boys surrounding him going, Bhagavan, Bhagavan! Now he can't even shout more because the next Swami, yes! And the boy is going, his color is changing now. Swami said, poor fellow, use both hands. So this fellow goes with both the hands now. You know, arm wrestling style is you have to put one hand behind, you know. Swami goes, no, use both hands. So now with both hands he's pushing Bhagavan's hand and nothing is happening to his hand. The boys got excited around him. To say they started screaming, Swami, Swami. I was hey, don't shout, help him. So the other boys jumped. Now it's a privilege to hold Swami's hand. So Swami's hand, his hand catching Swami and the 5 more hands jumping and pushing Bhagavan's hand. It went on for a few more minutes. Everybody's color is changing and Swami is simply smiling. Swami said, waste. What strength? You all are waste. Anyway, ready? Boys ready? He did his hand like that and he pushed them like that. All the 5 fellows went flying. They fell. They got up. Swami, your God, Swami. And Bhagavan said, nothing doing with God and all. It's pure physical power. And they were stunned. Swami, how? And Bhagavan said, the secret of this power is my purity. I am head to toe pure. If you have practiced the purity of thought, word and deed, this power will be yours. Even in game and playfulness, he never loses a chance to teach you a lesson. He said, this power is yours if you are proud. One day Bhagavan was going up, I just recalled it, it's a beautiful story. See, Bhagavan shows his divine ways in a very different ways. He was walking up the stairs to his room, and 3 boys were standing. Those who were doing the room duty, they were standing on the ground. Bhagavan took the flight of stairs and he was going up. Suddenly Bhagavan stopped. All 3 of them were standing like that and looking at Swami going up. He's retiring to his room. And Bhagavan was walking up the stairs. Suddenly he stopped and said, boys! And they all looked up to Bhagavan. Swami did. He did like that. And all 3 were drenched with vibhuti. All 3 were drenched with vibhuti. Completely drenched with vibhuti. And Swami said, he can do playfulness like that, isn't he?
I have a little serious question. Apart from this, what you're saying, Swami had predicted India will come up and project to the world how great she is in many scientific way and IT way and all those things. Quite a few years ago. And now we are all recognizing how Westerners, everybody using the word India and China and everything very quickly. If Swami has said anything like that for future in our children's time to come, for betterment of the mankind, the world.
I think recently he made it more clear when he said in next 23 years or something, the whole world will be different to live in. And that process is my guess, because the way I've been hearing his words from the years, out of the process is already started, and the more effect you will start seeing from next 3 to 5 years. There is a prophecy he made in 1965 or 66. I think he made a prophecy at that time. He created the map of India. I have those pictures, but anyway, he created a map of India in which there are 18 dots. He created a map of India and it had 18 dots in it. And those dots are the places from where his people would rule the country. It seems there's a prophecy, I'm not 100% sure on this line, that for 24 hours, Bhagavan would take the reins of the country. And he will instill his voice in those places. And they would run the country from that day onwards. And that is the time when he said, that is the time when India would start taking the lead in the world and the world would follow him. India is a spiritual engine for the world. And that's how it will become. So that phase should happen in the next 5 to 7 years. My best guess, I'm not sure. But that is according to the calculation just now.
Can you tell us whatever you know about this transition phase that has begun and will transition?
So what I'm trying to say, like, we are not authority to speak on that. I'm just recollecting whatever I've been hearing with Bhagavan. So I'm making a presumptuous guess that yes, it looks like that it's falling right now. Because when he said it's going to be last phase, 85th birthday is a very significant year for Bhagavan's life in Avatar. Last 16 years of phase. I hope you all know the 4 phases of Bhagavan. And then last phase is called the glorified years of Lord Avatar. In this glorified years, things would change drastically. And that is the time when people will acknowledge him right at his physical level. Because this phenomenon is unique because the world is looking at him in the physical form and worshipping him, which has never happened in the living incarnations. And this is the time of last phase of years when the whole world will truly acknowledge him. There's a joke also, we used to hear that somebody said, you will see all the magazines covering my pictures. All the governments trying to protect me because they think I will be, So he used to joke with that. He said, I don't care, but they will do because they will start recognizing me. So all that drama will happen now. Many years back, he would joke with us and say, boys, my aircraft has come. You be ready. Who will board the aircraft? And I remember in 80s, you tell, the aircraft has come on the runway. Now I am choosing people who will board the aircraft with me. And then in 90s, I heard him say, the aircraft is on the runway, ready to take off. I hope we are part of it. We have already lost time. The avatar's time doesn't stop. Who will be in that flight with him to enjoy that in the close proximity? He also said that, boys, time to come. If you see a red dot in the sky, know that you are blessed. You have seen me. I hate to see that way. Our Lord seeing as a dot. Obviously, it has to happen. But imagine today's accessibility. Yesterday's accessibility. Where we could tell him, no, sit. My seniors would go and tell Bhagavan, Swami, stop the interview because we have to work. Can you believe that? Somebody telling Swami, please, I am not interview, I have to work. Because they would be getting interviews 3, 4 hours continuously. So they would say, hey, we have to finish assignments, man. And he's not stopping. So he says, Swami, please, Swami, time out. And Bhagavan said, okay, go. When I heard, I said, are you crazy? How could you say no to him? He said, man, who knew that this time will come when we won't get this chance? In my time, they would say, your time is waste, you are lost. I said, what are you talking about? And then we would go inside and sit with him for 1 hour, 2 hours. And then he would say, now devotees are waiting, I have to go. And then we'll say, no, Swami, 5 more minutes only. 5 more minutes only. We'll pull him down and he'll sit again for half an hour. Today that also is gone. So we are phasing out anyways. We don't know what will happen tomorrow. But the fact is, he is very sane. He is safe close to us. But those moments of proximity we have lost. And we can't get it back. We can't expect him to start running around like when he was doing 20 years back. We can't expect to talk to him because he said, I have spoken to you enough. When we were leaving Parthi, we asked him, Swami, please speak to us. He said, all these years I spoke. If that didn't make any difference to you, what will it make now? I couldn't say anything to him. That is the difference. So things are changing, but he is sane. If you go and sit, he will come. Even on the wheelchair he comes. You need him, he will be there. That is the best part. He said, boys, you don't have to pray. Look at his statements. It's powerful. He said, you don't have to pray. You don't even have to ask. Just need me and I'll come. Can you imagine what a protection we have? Solid gear around us. Just need me and I'll be there. We don't have to even open our mouth. What a protection.
So what's the approach, sir? How do you approach? Give us a brief.
Sir, it's a personal journey, sir. I'm sharing my journey with you.
Please, the burden is on you.
How can I tell you what to do?
It's a very complicated thing.
It's a personal journey, right?
That's what he said, think of him.
Think of him. Yes, she's right. Think of him.
Think of him.
Think of him at every moment of your life.
Singing by means of singing bhajans works? No.
Singing is one only small aspect of your life. When you step out of here, what do? You can sing bhajans? You can't.
I see.
Yeah, but how much can you shout?
No.
Get internalized.
Say the mind.
Yes, why not? Think of him continuously. What else do you need?
Thank you.
He went to one boy and said, hey, come here, you fellow. He was from America only. He went back and Swami said, hey, use this fellow, you drive properly. Because his habit was, he would start driving, he'll start screaming and singing bhajans. So Swami said, you don't watch the road, I have to take care of you. So you can't sing bhajan like that also, that you have a giving problem to God. I recall a humorous story of Bhagavan with the bhajans. You know, we all sit down. I'm sure you must have heard the story. Why do we clap in bhajans? Anybody here? To wave away thoughts, bad thoughts away, right? Very nice. This discourse Swami gave. Swami gave the first discourse in 80s and he said that bhajan time when you clap, all the bad thoughts will fly away. So you should clap during the bhajan. Nice story, right? He explains it very beautifully. Imagine a tree filled with birds, and if you clap, all the birds fly off. So similarly, when you clap during the bhajan, your bad thoughts will fly and you can concentrate better. Good example. But you know, children's minds are mischievous. One boy heard this and he had a brilliant idea. Now let me tell you, in student time, we would find any excuse to attract his attention. It could mean breaking our head, we'll break it just to attract his attention. And we did that. So one of the genius, mischievous brains had this brilliant idea. Hey, he gave an excuse now to clap. So he was sitting in the bhajan hall, almost in the front rows, when Bhagavan came and sat. When Bhagavan sits, bhajan is going on in full rhythm. Imagine you clapping in a nice manner. Now he goes, who's the singer here? Imagine like that. Imagine clapping in that loudness. Suddenly the whole hall started turning toward this guy. And Swami looked at him. Now there are some tricks to play with Bhagavan. If you look at him, he'll tell you don't do and then you can't do again. So what he did was, he was clapping loudly and closed his eyes. So now nobody can tell him. Swami is looking at him, what happened to him? He's clapping loudly and he's seeing Swami is looking and again clapping. So he went on for full bhajan. So Bhagavan tolerated for one full bhajan. Then he said, this fellow is not learning. Now because he was attracting his attention completely and he was completely successful in doing that. Now Swami is smiling, looking at him and he's closing his eyes and hammering a hand, cut. After one bhajan was over, Swami came out, called the warden. And he says to him, hey, go and tell that fellow, I asked him to ward off his thoughts and words, not everybody around him. He has a humor in explaining things. And Gordon came and told that boy, hey, what are you doing? I said, I was clapping. The Swami said that, man, behave. How he can point out the thing to you that, okay, I said that to do, but do it in the proper manner. That is our Lord. He can play anytime, anywhere. I think we'll have next session. So, if any further questions, we can close now. Because I hope, Bhagavan's tales are like that. We can continue talking and listening to him. Because they are so full of joy. Trust me, each time I have to share it, I'm so grateful. Because this gives me an opportunity to think about it and relive those moments. So I'm grateful about it. And I'm really, really grateful to Swami for this opportunity and thank you all for patiently listening. And if is there anything else I could do, please feel free. Yes, sir.
Sorry to keep on asking the questions, but I thought I had read somewhere in Swami's discourses about seeing other holy people, where he said you should see as many good, holy people as you can, but a lot of people are very shy, or they want to be devoted and concentrating on Swami. So this is actually the time of year when a lot of saints come from India to visit New York, and some of us go to see them. I was wondering if you have the insight on that.
See, I'm not sure where you read or what you read, because the statements can be tricky and people can interpret them in their own format. But as far as visiting a holy person is concerned, I don't think there's anything wrong personally. But you have to be careful about it. We need a form for a purpose. We have chosen one master. Don't dilute from that. I may respect your mother, but I have my mother. I won't change my mother because I found another beautiful lady walking on the street. Okay? So however my mother is, she's my mother and I love her and I follow her. So we have to be very careful about that. So you can't change the master which you have chosen. Otherwise, we'll be lost. Satsang is very important. What we call satsang is like the company of good. That is the crux, that is the key of the whole meeting. Satsang could be within us or within an elevated soul, doesn't make a difference. But as long as your focus is right, then my master is that. Anybody who walks with me or helps me to walk faster, welcome. I will adore him. If you want to worship my father by singing in English, she wants to sing in French, this fellow wants to sing in Persian, I don't care. As long as we all are singing the glory of my father, I am happy. But your father is yours, mine is mine. I will keep my father and follow him. So I would only request that don't get influenced that way. You can take goodness from anywhere, any quarters is welcome. But the focus should never change. My master is my master. But the moment your need is done, he will himself take it off. What else do we want in life when the God himself has become our master? Why do we have to crave for any other person when he himself has come down? He would joke and tell us, boys, why do you struggle so much? The world who worshipped thousands of years to achieve God, I am already here. Your struggle is over. Enjoy me. But we are restless people. We don't know how to stop. Our struggle is not to find him. Our chase is to keep him, preserve him. We have nothing to find. We have nothing to explore. We have already got him. Feel happy about having God in life and practice. Yes, like these meetings are our own growth process. We share, we learn from each other, and we move, but we don't change. Just, that's my request, that's all I can say. Just, we have our master, why not? Anything else, or we can close? Maybe time there, but then we can even play some videos later on, no problem. Thank you so much. Sathya.
Thank you very much, Abhi, on all our behalf. Swami has bestowed Abhi with a lot of spiritual wisdom, but also with a lot of humility. I can reveal a small secret. Most of the stories that we heard today, many of them were his stories, but he chose not to use his name in that because he wanted the focus to remain on Swami. We are trying to organize a small breakout session with the young adults and the SSC children at Asamai. So we'll try to start as soon as we wind up from this place. As a token of our love, I request with the Dayavaran to please present Abhimanyu Kaul with a small souvenir.